What is up, y'all? Austin Pegram with Fitness That Fits You. If you're on my page, then you know who I am, but just wanted to make sure and introduce myself. We're gonna go ahead and get after a workout today. I've got a nice Friday leg day for you. So you can obviously do this on your leg day. If it's not Friday, that's totally fine, all right? I'm gonna run through just a few basics. If you're with me or if you're following along, you're at the gym, feel free to hop your phone out and let's do this workout together. So today we are gonna work on a little bit of posterior chain action with, emphasis on your posterior chain, okay? So I've got my first movement here. We're gonna work with a bilateral movement. That's gonna be a hip thrust, okay? It's gonna be a hip thrust. We're gonna do that 15 to 20 times, okay? Currently in a deload week here, or rest week if you will, so I'm still going to work some of these movements, but just not as heavy, and they're gonna be a bit more joint friendly, okay? We're gonna work this hip thrust here just because my glutes and my hips can always use some loving, all right? So we're gonna do about 15 to 20 reps. That means a little bit lighter weight, all right? We're gonna be working with a unilateral movement, a walking lunge. Now, obviously that walking lunge, utilizes a ton of different muscle groups there in your legs, right? All of your lower extremities, your core, et cetera, et cetera. However, just the nature of the walking lunge itself, you walking forward, there's a ton of tension, a ton of stress that you're putting on your quads here, right? So the idea is that we're working with an antagonist movement here, okay? So you got your hip thrust, you got your walking lunge. We're gonna do that down and back on the turf that we have here at Swift in the studio, all right? After that, we're gonna work into the hammies. Now, depending on your time, depending on how much time you have, this may be all that you do, right? You work your bilateral and your unilateral. Hopefully you have some sort of finisher that you work on, right? But that may be all that you do. If you have a little extra time, you go ahead and you smoke these hammies. Our hamstrings, right, are fundamentally on a wide base, weak, all right? Most people have pretty weak hamstrings. So it's important that we, work on those as often as we can. That is when we're working legs, whether it be posterior chain or anterior chain, et cetera, et cetera. So I like to throw those bad boys in. I like to work for a little bit more metabolic stress, not necessarily looking for a heavy load when it comes to this hamstring curl. There are so many different exercises you can do for your hamstrings that are a bit more functional, absolutely. I just love the burn that I get from these hamstring curls. And I feel like I get a great response from my body when I'm working these hamstring curls here, okay? So we're gonna work those. I wanna feel the burn, all right? After we work our strength here, you all, short and sweet, right? That's the goal. Most people, we just don't have the freaking time, right? All right, I got lucky enough today to have my videographer / photographer for an hour, right? But usually that's not the case, okay? So we got a cardio finisher. We're gonna work with a jump rope and kettlebell swings, okay? Now, the kettlebell swings make a lot of sense here, right? In terms of just finishing out your glutes. The jump rope, not necessarily. You can kind of do that with any workout, right? Doesn't need to be like pertaining just to when you're working your legs and your glutes predominantly, right? You can do your jump rope as your cardio with any workout you do, unless you have some issue with the bouncing or the proprioception here of the bounce, But for me, it feels great. I'm gonna do it. These two movements require a lot of energy from me, okay? A lot of energy from me. So if I'm really trying to toast my muscles, really trying to finish out and deplete all of the energy stores that I have here for my workout to really say that I get a nice hard finisher, I'm gonna put two exercises that I know are gonna challenge me, okay? So I got a nice challenging finisher here. We're gonna work 25 kettlebell swings, and then we're gonna work a jump rope here at 75 reps there, okay? That's usually when I start to feel like, all right, now my calves are burning here, right? My form may fall off a little bit, so I wanted to keep it right there at that rep count. I'm not looking to die. I'm just looking to plug in two exercises that'll really make me work hard, okay? The kettlebell swings, we are gonna work those with about a 50 pounder here today. Typically, that's gonna be more about 80 to 100 pounds for your kettlebell swings. For me personally, for this particular workout, we'll draw it back here to 50 pounds. Again, this is more of like a rest week for me, okay? Then we move into our core finisher. This is all gonna be flowing really quickly, all right? I'm only gonna be doing one round of everything with the exception of the cardio. So you, of course, will be looking to do multiple rounds when you do this workout, all right? So core finisher, we're gonna work here with 4 different movements, okay? So we're looking at a lever position, okay? It's still prone, as in your face toward the ground here, but it's a lever position. You're gonna be working dynamically, moving your body into a lever position here, okay? those abs are really gonna stretch and lengthen, and you gotta create stability there in that position, all right? We're gonna work with an ab wheel rollout. If you don't have an ab wheel, you only have sliders or towels in your home, you can work those towels on like your hardwood floor, okay? We're gonna work a supine position. That is gonna be a crunch or McGill curl up rather, okay? I have a way of doing this that I think really promotes a great response for my body, and it's been really effective for a lot of my clientele as well, okay? So we're gonna plug that in as well. Elevation crunches, I'll show you what those look like when we get to it, all right? We're gonna do a side movement, side plank, of course, throwing in some anti-rotation there and some lateral core, obviously kind of working it together. So we're gonna work that side plank. I may get a little dynamic in there right now. I just wanna show you all more of an isometric position there, okay? And then we're gonna work a prone neutral position instead of the lever. They may not be prone lever or prone neutral. That is how I am classifying them to make that easier for you to understand. And then what we're gonna do here with that, we're gonna take 1/3 of our plank matrix, go look up plank matrix, and we're gonna work up and down in that sagittal plane with our plank matrix here, okay? But before we get through all that, we gotta go through the freaking warm up, all right? So what we're gonna do, we got 6 phases here, courtesy of Dr. John Rusin, the pain performance specialist certification. We are gonna work with soft tissue stretch, specific muscles. You'll see what we do. I'll be speaking to you as we go. We're going to work on some corrective exercise, activation, specific movement pattern pertaining to the lift that we're gonna be working here, the main lift. And then we're gonna work some stimulation, right? Exciting that central nervous system, getting your body ready to go, all right? For those, we're gonna be plugging in some box jumps, all right? So without further ado, let's get started, all right? We're gonna go ahead and hit our soft tissue work. Here we go. So you may have a softer foam roller, kind of like this gray one here. I've got this nice black hard one here. So what you're going to do, I'm gonna be looking to really work into the areas that are gonna be necessary, right, for this particular workout, all right? In the way of just telling my body, hey, it's okay. My brain rather, hey, this area, it's fine, it's okay. Let's get that space to relax there, okay? So first things first, my quads are always tight. So we're gonna go ahead and work on these quads. When I say tight, I really just mean kind of sore. So let's go ahead and work on these. I'm gonna establish a plank position. Kind of find me a spot here, okay? I'm using my body to roll over the foam roller, trying to keep this plank position. Once I find that spot, I like to really work with some flexion extension at the knee. There we go. Okay, so now what I wanna do, let's do about 5 of these for time's sake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the other side, here we go. Use your body to make this roll happen. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, I'm just gonna stay there. I'm gonna work with, hold on, get a little, there we go. Oh, all right, I'm gonna work with 5 here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whew. Very good now. Nice. All right, we're gonna do this now with the adductors here, okay? So what I wanna do, try to get this knee up here. It's a 90-degree angle if you can. And if I can, I wanna try and get my hips pretty neutral here, okay? To the floor, okay? That's what I'm looking to do. Square them up with the floor, all right? And then I'm looking to roll, use my body to make that roll happen. When I find an area like that, Lord, I'm gonna look to do the same thing. Flexion extension. Oh, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Oh, we're gonna go to the other side here. Now, if you can't get your knee all the way up here at 90, right, then that's okay. You know, you just kind of work with what you got here, okay? All right? While there may be optimal ways to do things, you just gotta kind of work with what you have. You are enough. You're great. You're wonderful. You're perfect. So use what you have. If you really, really, really want to get better at it, because you think it's not up to par or good enough, practice. Practice, practice, practice. Woo, good. Now, since we're gonna be working this hip thrust, I obviously want to get into my glutes, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and do this as well. All right, this is the way that I like to do it. There are obviously plenty of ways you can do it. One way you can do this here is just kind of work on your side like so. But I feel like I get a little bit more of a pinpoint here if I can just kind of rotate over into this position. Whew. And then I'm gonna use my body to go over this foam roller. So my foot is pushing me away, my hand is pushing the body down. Foot's pushing away, hand is pushing the body down. So you're working while you're in this foam roller. Oh my God. I found a nice little spot. I'm gonna stay here for a second. And because I'm a little locked into place, I can't necessarily do a ton of trigger point here, right? All right, so if I were in a different position, let's say I was here, man, I'd be able to kind of rotate in toward that foam roller, right? I don't get as much here though, so I like that position just kind of sitting there for a second, all right? Let's switch sides here. Here we go. Oh yeah, that side. So I went and got some needling done not too long ago over at Pro Rehab Physical Therapy, and he punctured this right hip, and Lord have mercy. A lot of jumps, y'all, a lot of jumps. Good, I found a spot. I'm gonna stay here for a second. Yeah, woo! Lord have mercy. Nice job, y'all. All right, once you get done with that foam roller, you're gonna go ahead and move to the side. Obviously, if you're working a full body, then you might have other areas that you need to kind of work that foam roller with. But I just wanted to get my legs. I'm trying to be efficient and keep it moving. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the three stretches rather, that are gonna work for me for this particular workout, okay? We're gonna try to fly through these. The first thing I wanna do, we're gonna come to a half kneeling position, 90 here in your legs, okay? If you need to spread your base out a little bit for balance, by all means do so. What I want you to do is tuck those hips in, just like so. You're gonna look to bring yourself forward, but you've got to keep the glute squeeze. You've got to keep this posterior pelvic tilt, okay? And you're gonna look to come forward in this position if you can, right? You might already have a great response here in the front of this leg. If you do, that's fine, all right? You're gonna take some breaths here, make sure you breathe. I didn't explain that on the foam roller because I was too busy talking to you all. Breathing's very important there also, okay? That breathing just tells the body, all right, I'm good here. Everything's okay. I can relax. Good, each exhale you're trying to go a little bit further. And you can even play around with this a little bit more. You can come back in on your inhale to your last point and then exhale a little bit further past that point. See that tiny little rock there? Boom. Already feel a lot better. There you go. Let's go to the other side. Now that you know what we're doing, let's fly through. Nice, you all. Let's move on to the adductors here. Get the groin area here. Flatten that foot out. Both hands here. Take big breaths. Sink. Stay here. Big inhale, you come up just a tad. Come a little bit lower. Keep it going. Good, let's go to the other side here. Well done, you all. Let's work here into our pigeon stretch now. I want you to think about getting yourself into this position. You're going to actively try and lift your foot up toward your hand. Okay, you go as much as you can go. Once you get to that point, I can probably go just a little bit more here. May not necessarily have the motor control to do so, but once you get to this point, I want you to press down into the mat here. Oh, with that front leg here, okay? Take this arm and just look to rotate the shoulder over into that opposite hip. You can do this with both hands on the floor. If you want this to be more intense, you take this elbow and you reach it around. But you're still active here, okay? Let's switch sides. Ooh, yes, very good job, y'all. Okay. Now, ideally, you may spend a little bit more time on that, or have a little bit more opportunity to just be a bit more mindful and have some attention there. I just wanted you to see what that looks like and the type of warm-up we're going to be going through. Okay. We're going to move on here. We're going to work on some corrective exercise here. Okay. Now, ideally, this may be a dead bug or a bird dog. Okay. So I'm going to show you 5 reps of each. You've got your bird dog here. You want to take this leg out, left leg out. Make sure that hip is not opening up here. Try to keep those toes to the floor, keep the hips in a symmetrical position. And I want you to simply drive this arm forward. This does not need to be this number here, right? That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for boom, boom. Back in, switch sides. Boom, boom. Spend all day kind of relying on one side, not giving the other side enough love, sitting on one side, leaning to one side, right? So this is a great opportunity for you to try and correct some of those daily discrepancies you may be experiencing or enabling. Now we work into our dead bugs. So flatten that back, get your hips into posterior pelvic tilt. Try to draw in on the belly, keep the core tight, right? Lift those knees in the air. Try not to get your knees back here, right? You want to think about getting the knees directly over the hips. Nice and strong. You should not be able to slide under here. You're going to work left leg, right arm. Boom, opposites. Back in. Here we go. Nice job, y'all. Okay, we've got that correction out of the way. Way to kill it. We're gonna move on to your activation.